For those that don't know us, my name's Ian Bone. I'm an ex-professional mixed martial arts fighter, and I've been working in the fitness industry now for 13 years, I think. Around 13 years. This is Steve. He's our strength and conditioning coach. He's also blue belt in jiu-jitsu and does a bit of boxing and kickboxing with us as well. So I've been at this for a while, and obviously learning to eat healthy is a process, and so is learning to have a healthy routine, and it comes with challenges. And I think unfortunately people expect to wake up one day and just make a decision and it just happens like that and it's smooth sailing, but it's not really the case, is it? What do you think is the best way for people to approach that, or how do you personally approach it?
Like you said, definitely not jumping in the deep end. It's small steps. Have one thing that you're planning to do, even on a weekly basis, that you try to stick to 100%. Don't put a heap of things on your plate. Don't put 10 to 20 different little things to do, because it'll feel like that. You'll feel like you're spinning plates or juggling balls, and if you drop one, you're likely to just say, screw it, I'm going to drop them all, rather than going back and saying, all right, let's focus on one thing, let's put 100% effort into that one thing, and as soon as that becomes a habit, you don't really need to try anymore. It's just something that you do every day when you wake up.
Yeah, and I think it can be like an addition-subtraction thing too, where it's like you need to figure out what can be the most impactful action that maybe you can take for that first week or month. And that might mean you're addicted to sugar and you drink a Gatorade or a iced coffee on the way to work every day. That simply eliminating that one thing, which might be 200-300 calories, which is equal to a meal, eliminating that one thing which takes no effort or time on your behalf except for saying, okay, I'm just going to eliminate this one thing, and I've just started training, so I'm just going to eliminate this one thing. So you're not changing your whole lifestyle. Maybe you just go to the gym twice a week and eliminated one thing, and that can have a huge impact. That one thing can be almost 1,500 to 2,000 calories a week, which is equal to a whole day worth of eating. Just eliminating that one thing,
Yeah, if your daily calorie intake is 1,800 calories and you need to be at, let's say, 1,600 to lose weight, just eliminating that one iced coffee can mean you're in a deficit every day. Just taking that one thing out.
Yeah, it has a huge effect, which is important to remember, because if you want to be successful, so I've been in the fitness industry now for a while, right? And I've tried lots of different things, and I've been part of the keto crowd. I once gave body trim to all my clients. That was a pretty successful keto-like negative calorie system. So changing the type of foods rather than monitoring your calories. I've tried cycling carbohydrates in and out for people. I've really done everything, but the bottom line, the reason why everything works, is that calorie deficit. And it's easy for us to say that that's all a thing, but the mindset and that ability to make small changes and lasting habits is really the thing that makes the biggest effect. So I know that you have a bunch of really good habits. What's one of the things that you do that you think gives you longer lasting effects?
I've said it a couple of times in posts, but focusing on protein. If all I can do is focus on protein whenever I put something in my mouth, then I know that I'm preparing properly from my training. And not only that, it's not just about muscles, it's responsible for a whole bunch of other things. Protein, your immune system health, especially during these times, is really important, keeping your protein up. So if I eat anything, there's protein first, and then I worry about if I want to have some carbs or fats.
Yeah, and there's science behind that too, right? Because it levels out your insulin spikes, which is one of the things that controls hunger. So just controlling your protein all the time is a good way to level it out. I also try and eat salads or like vegetables and meat all week long, and then the way I figure it, if I'm going to get carbohydrates in because I had a sweet drink or a latte or a coffee, that's where I'm getting those extra calories from. So I just pull that kind of stuff off my plate. I try to make not eating bread a habit. I don't really eat bread. It's not that I won't get a breakfast wrap or something every now and then, so I'm not a psychopath about it. But I definitely find, like, if there's no need to have those extra calories on the plate, like if you're already drinking a couple of coffees with dairy in it during the day, maybe even having sugar in those, you know, like if you're eating a whole bunch of fruit, there's probably not a need to say, well, every meal's got to have a side of potatoes or a side of rice and everything like that. So that's one of the lasting habits that I have from all the fight camps and things that I've done as well. Are there any other tips that you have for helping people change?
So protein's a big one. I would say water intake is huge. If you're dehydrated, you're more likely stressed, and stress can lead to things like binge eating, relying on sugar to make you feel better. And especially with the training here, you do sweat a fair amount, so getting your water intake in. I get about 4 to 5 litres a day, and it does depend on body weight, so you can calculate that quite easily. So water's huge, and then another one is electrolytes. Salt is big. If you're low in salt, there are a heap of different health issues that can start arising. There is a big push in the health industry to lower your salt in everything, but salt is important for so many things, just your cells talking to each other in the body. So definitely make sure that you're not cutting all your salt out, especially iodized salt, because it's super healthy for you too.
Well, and that was one of those myths that came from, they said salt was the cause of heart disease and heart artery hardening the arteries, but they've decided, they've since debunked that anyway. And it's funny you say water as well, because I remember being in Atlanta and Damien had hired George Lockhart, who was a famous nutritionist for a lot of the UFC fighters. So he came out and we had breakfast and dinner a couple of days, and I asked him the same question. I was like, what's the one thing that you think most people do wrong? And he's like, water. Everyone needs to drink more water.
Exactly.
Walk around with a water bottle. If you're hungry, before you eat, drink some water.
Yep.
After you finish eating, before you decide you're hungry again, drink some more water again.
Yeah.
And that is definitely something that is really, really good advice.
If people are thirsty too, they'll usually reach for a sports drink, which isn't as bad as something like a Coke or a fruit juice. But all of those things, if they have any caffeine in them, or even a sports drink that does have electrolytes can actually dehydrate you if you're not having enough water with them. So if you're just having Powerade and no other fluids, you will be dehydrated. Like, that's not going to rehydrate you enough.
Yeah. And your habits too, and your ability to control them has a lot to do with the type of person and the character you are as well. I can't think of one better activity for self-betterment than starting to set some goals, stick by them, and adjust your habits, because your ability to either get things done or not get things done is a direct reflection of the strength of your character. So if you really want to do one activity that's going to make you a much stronger person and someone with like impenetrable or invincible character, then I think learning to master your habits is good. And there's a lot of books that you can read. I know I gave all our trainers Atomic Habits for Christmas this year as a book. There's more books out there that you can get your hands on that are good. Have you got any that you could recommend to anyone that's watching now?
It may be a bit of a tangent from the habits, but it still does have a lot in there. Extreme Ownership is a hugely important book for that.
100%.
Amazing book for that.
Yeah, amazing book. I love that book. A really good audio book too, because he's got a great voice and goes over it again. Just before we go, we might ask if anybody's got any questions. Has anybody live got any questions? No? Alright, well, thanks Steve, it was good. Hopefully somebody gets some good stuff out of that, and remember, habits become things, and the things that you do become the person that you are, so get out there and get after it.